Gunple, Gunman's Proof. Released for the Super Famicom in Japan on 1997, on the same day as Final Fantasy VII, we have another JRPG that never arrived to our shores due to how late in the system's life it was released. The game received average reviews in its time, but is considered by some as one of the hidden gems that we never had the chance to play. Let's see how well the game fares. Set in the Wild West, the game is basically about an alien arriving and starting to wreak havoc around the place. The space police arrive and one of them takes control of the body of a child they meet and start the mission to destroy the 7 enemy bases and the mastermind of everything, Denny. If that sounds like a drug-fueled dream, then you're probably in the right direction. Sadly, beyond this opening madness and a few things here and there, story and characters take a distant second place in this game since it focuses almost completely in action. It has some funny situations here and there, but a lot more could have been done if they had wanted to take advantage of the sheer madness of the premise. Similar to A Link to the Past, but things here have more of a comic look and the animations for character and enemies also fall into this line. A charming and pretty looking game nonetheless though. Very enjoyable unless you prefer more serious looking things. Music is fun and catchy and doesn't ever get boring, probably cause the game is not that long. Sound effects are kind of scarce though, and they lead to my biggest disappointment with the game, which is that during boss fights you don't get any audio or visual indication that you're harming the boss. This makes things not only confusing since sometimes you have to hit them in specific places, but also kind of boring since not having these cues reduces the excitement of the fights. Imagine A Link to the Past, but instead of a sword you have a gun, and you already have an idea of how the game plays. Besides a button for shooting, you have one to lock the direction in which you are aiming, which is very useful since you'll want to shoot diagonally most of the time. Another for bombs that I didn't use much, and one to dodge bullets by laying on the ground. You also receive some limited ammo weapons randomly when killing enemies after learning how to use them at town, kind of like how you unlock weapons in roguelike games. Also important to mention that the game has a life system. If you die while you have one, you will revive at the same place with full life, but if you don't, you will revive at the main town. Due to this, I would recommend that if you die in a dungeon and beat the boss with 0 lives, you should just suicide. Not only will it teleport you to the main town to report your victory, but it will also give you a couple of lives. As I mentioned before, the game focuses completely on action, so except for a few parts where you have to go talk to someone to get the items or skills needed to get into the next dungeon, you won't be seeing any puzzles. The game will probably take you around 6 hours to complete, more or less depending on how much you explore the dungeons. I mention this because exploration is pretty optional here, since most treasures only give you points or gold, but it seems like they forgot to put a store since this gold is only used to buy story related things a couple of times. There are a couple of upgrades for your main weapons hidden in the dungeons though, so exploring at least a bit is recommended. A short and fun game that offers a lot of replayability due to its short and entertaining nature. Some people compare its gameplay to Zelda or its humor to Earthbound, but it's not even close to those. As long as you don't have unreasonable expectations, the game is pretty enjoyable. But if you go in expecting something akin to A Link to the Past, you will be sorely disappointed. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. You can expect more reviews on RPGs in the future.